Hello, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today on our fixed wireless 5G access session. My name is Biliana Yaniva, and I'm with the America's Partner Organization Engineering team. My team covers enterprise networking across the partner community, and today we have with us Uni Rajagopalan. Uni is a Meraki TME leader who will be talking about the new Meraki 5G SA capable MG52 cellular gateways. Please post your questions in the Q&A section, and we will do our best to answer them as we go along. Thank you. And with that, Umi, you can take it over.
Thanks, Juliana. Hey, everyone. Juliana already introduced me, so I'll get to the meat of the session right away. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yep, I can see it.
All right, perfect. Okay. So good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. So my name is Uni, and I'm a senior TME on the MXG PM. I basically lead all the cellular side of the business on the PM team. So today we're going to really talk about some of the important things related to fixed wireless access. We're going to talk about our new and latest shiny toy in the 5G SA space. That's the MG52. And then I'll talk more about the SA and a couple of, deviating into the eSIM that we've launched specifically on the MG52 and why this is a differentiator and how this can sort of like solve business problems with respect to zero touch provisioning. So with respect to like the MG52, we launched this product at Cisco Live 2024. A couple of salient features of the product is it's based on the 3GPP latest release. So that means it can do true 5G SA compared to the prior products that we launched, which were either LTE or 5G NSA. This product definitely kind of works seamlessly on the SA spectrum. And then also it can do aggregation of 3CC on the 5G SA network. So what I mean is technically any LTE product was sort of limited with the frequency that it could use on a band, those 20 megahertz. However, on the 5G SA, that frequency is 100 megahertz. So imagine like the kind of speeds and throughputs that the SA spectrum sort of provides. On top of it, the device is also LTE compatible and 5G NSA compatible. So even if you're deploying this device in an area where there's no 5G SA coverage, you're kind of doing a future-proof deployment. So when and time and when it's available, the device automatically connects to a 5G SA network, providing the quality of service and necessary necessary quality of service for the kind of deployments. With respect to private 5G, it also supports CBRS bands, but also like carriers who have typically do licensed spectrum 5G deployments. We have all the band and the CA combinations available on our MG documentation page, so please go look at it. And also from like the high bandwidth that is 100 megahertz spectrum, we do have C-band support as well. Now I want to introduce Cloud Managed eSIM. That is fundamentally what we launched as a new thing in the market. We are the industry first when it comes to an M2N eSIM that's being able to sort of deploy devices and activate them at the same time. So let me quickly go through some of the specifications as well. So we retained the IP67 certification from the MG51, the 41, and the 21. And this is a deciding factor for 5G SA deployments, specifically because with 5G SA, the sort of availability inside the buildings is limited. And that's where you need to really deploy this device that's outdoors. And that's where we still maintain that IP67 rating. It still comes with the same sort of mounting as the previous devices. So if you want to really replace any existing MGs in your fleet with a new one, you can do it effortlessly. On top of it, it uses the 5G SA spectrum, so it can do theoretically max of 2 gigabits download and 300 Mbps upload. It does come with 2 physical SIM slots for high redundancy. So if you want to have multiple networks and provide redundancy to your customers, then you already have this option available in addition with eSIM. So how will the MG52 be different from MG51? So technically, as I said, MG52 operates in a 5G SA spectrum that is 100 megahertz directly on an NR radio. So when we launched the previous MG51 product, it was a 5G NSA product. That meant it had to go through an LTE attach before it could get a single band 5G 100 megahertz spectrum as a carrier aggregation. So this kind of limited the performance because there was only one single 5G spectrum available that's, depends on the carrier. It could be 50 to 100 megahertz, and that limited the performance of the device itself. However, on the 5G SA, now we have 3CC, that's like 300 megahertz band that can be aggregated on the network. And typically, certain SPs have been able to kind of provide more than a gig speed. And one of the fact that happened also at our Cisco Live was that T-Mobile replaced their entire booth with an MG52 device, and they completely, removed their wired connection and ran their whole network via MG52. And at that point, it was providing a 600 Mbps speed inside like the venue at Cisco Live. So that's the kind of performance that you need for enterprise applications and also from a standpoint of doing SD-WAN. So this is the kind of device which can be used as a primary or a secondary for in addition to wired connection. So how does this look different on the dashboard compared to like the previous products? So if you look at an NSA, as I said, the primary latch on carrier is still 4G, and then 5G is added as a single carrier band aggregation. However, with SA, you see that there's 200 megahertz frequencies available and bands available, and that kind of makes a difference in terms of like the performance the device is able to get. Now, with respect to no SA coverage or no NSA coverage, now obviously this will still work with the LTE technology, and that's kind of like a future proof that I was talking about when you're thinking about deploying it in areas where there's no 5G SA coverage now, but probably in a later point in time. So let me quickly get to the cloud managed eSIM onboarding and why this is kind of important. Now, technically, what we wanted to solve was a fundamental problem that existed with the fixed wireless access. Now, one of the fundamental problem was a SIM card was needed to provide zero-touch provisioning. If you look at all the Meraki devices, any single device, when you connect to a wired network, it automatically starts reporting to dashboard. At that point, it's completely manageable via our dashboard management system, but it's true zero touch. Now we wanted to bring this true zero touch with the MG and the fixed wireless access portfolio. But the fundamental problem was the SIM cards. Now, technically, if you wanted to deploy this, you have to actually get the device and then you have to stage it with a specific SIM card and then actually deploy it. So there's fundamentally a number of processes that can go wrong in between. Simply if you were to deploy this device, but then you were never, getting the SIM card in the first place, then, technically your deployment is delayed, which costs money. So what we really wanted to do was we wanted to actually give a service where you buy the device, but you also are able to buy a wireless service directly through the Meraki dashboard. That's the seamless experience where you're tying the device buying experience with the connectivity buying experience. And once we do that, you actually provide a true zero touch experience. So when we thought we wanted to do this, we had Control Center, which is our Cisco BU, who had the eSIM capability. So we partnered with them. Once we partnered with them, we were able to provide a zero trust provisioning. But however, we still weren't able to create a WAN service creation simply because you had to actually partner with a carrier to provide that. So that's where we decided, okay, so we can solve this problem by actually partnering with AT&T. And the thing that we also solved was now you could actually buy a service via the Meraki dashboard directly from AT&T. Not only that, you can do it through zero touch provisioning. That is, you don't have to stage the device. You can directly ship the device to an area where there's an AT&T coverage. We have zero touch data. That means like if you power on the device, without any SIM card, the device automatically connects to an eSIM. And then once it connects, you could actually go through the Meraki dashboard and buy the required service from AT&T directly. and also get a 30-day free complimentary data. So I'll come to the part like how you get there. Now, so this is our whole workflow that we designed in terms of like getting an actual service with AT&T. So you don't have to do anything different here. Once you buy a Cisco Meraki device, the process of claiming the device is exactly the same. You don't have to do anything. Just claim the devices. But once you claim the devices, in the org page, you will have another section called SIM cards. And that's where you can actually go and activate an eSIM. And I'll go through a demo and I'll show you like how that works. Once once you as a user or as a partner go to that particular page, you have an option to go and buy the AT&T plan. Now, AT&T right now offers like a single plan, but they also are interested in offering other different plans. Now, once that happens, technically what you can do is you can go with AT&T, buy that plan. Once that plan is bought, you will get a set of credentials, and that is the kind of credentials that you need to connect an SP account, that is an AT&T account, with a Meraki dashboard. Once you connect the account, that is the AT&T account, to the Meraki dashboard account, you can activate any number of devices tied to that plan at any given point in time. So that means like once you connect, and this is like connect once and activate any number of devices. So if you have a fleet of 1,000 devices and you want to activate all of them, all you need to do is stay connected and then have that plan and then start activating the devices. Now, AT&T also plans to introduce other plans in the future, and I'll walk through like how we can buy the plan here. Then you should be able to offer differentiated services to your customers and enterprises using that. So let me actually pause here and go through a demo so that it's kind of very clear on how this process happens. So here, I'll just play this video here on how the activation process happens. So as I said before, if you already have Meraki devices, then all you need to do is to just claim those devices. So I'll walk through like how the claiming process works if you're not aware of it. So you just basically claim through an order number, or you basically claim using serial. Once you do that, all you can do is just add it to your network. That's a design network you want to do. So in this case, I'll add it to an MG52 eSIM demo network. Excuse me. I'll forward this a little bit so that you can get, okay. So now what's technically has happened is that we claim this device and then we powered it on. The device automatically starts reporting to dashboard. And this is the reason that I said that every device MG52 in North America, specifically US, comes with a bootstrap data. So this allows us to automatically connect to dashboard. Once the device is connected to dashboard, we can go and activate the plan. So the eSIM is only active once the device connects active on the eSIM to the dashboard. So that's a fundamental principle for any deployment, is to get the device online through the eSIM and then do the transfer to a desired carrier, in this case AT&T. If you have external SIM cards on the device, then eSIM will not be active because you tend to use the physical SIM card as probably the primary. In that case, what you can technically do is to swap this or change the priority of the SIM card to eSIM as primary, and then power on the device, have the device connect to eSIM, activate the plan, and then you can swap between or change the priority of primary and secondary between eSIM and the secondary SIM. So right now the device is reporting to dashboard. It's able to, trying to do a connectivity check to see like everything's good. So I'm just going to forward it a little bit here. So the device is still connecting. Now, as I said, like once you go to the SIM cards page here, you will be able to see all your devices specifically that has eSIM. Only the devices that has eSIM are going to be populated here. Rest of the devices which have a physical SIM card, you can still go and click on this device link and be able to see that. But this is just an inventory for all the eSIMs that you want to activate. Now, once you go there, as you just saw, like there's an activate AT&T link a hyperlink added to the dashboard, that's where you need to go and create your account. And this is where you're actually buying a service from AT&T. So in this process, you need to fill all the details required, and this typically takes 5 minutes. And I'll walk you through what are the different steps required here in this part of the demo. So you need to fill the address, the primary place of use, etc. So let's go do that. Just going to forward a little bit. So the first process is to create the account with AT&T so that you can manage all your plans. That's a rate plan and comp plan. So once you've finished your account, then you have to log into the account. So using your username, password, you log in. Once you log in, you actually get a code onto your registered email. So you need to enter this code to be able to proceed further and then buy the rate plan and the comp plan. Okay, I'm gonna speed that up a little bit. So now the fundamental process is the credit check. So as part of like the process of buying, you need to provide like a valid tax ID so that you can AT&T can directly bill you on the number of connections that you buy. So in this case, like once you submit your tax ID, there AT&T does what is called as a credit check to make sure that you have a valid credit score. Once that is done, you will be taken to the next process. If not, there will be additional steps required. At that point, you can go to AT&T Help and then call them directly or email them or create a case directly with AT&T to get the required support of what is blocking that process. So I'm just going to forward a little bit because we're doing a demo and we're doing like a demo ID here, which is not really a valid one. So this takes perhaps like a couple of minutes or even like seconds for that matter. Once that is done, you will be able to go to the next screen and buy the rate plans and the comp plan. So I'm just going to speed that a little bit there. All right, so sorry. So there you go. So that's when you know that your credit check is approved. So once your credit check is approved, you can go and buy the rate plan. So there's a difference here that I want to point out, and the point is here is there's comp plan and the rate plan. So rate plan here specifies typically like what kind of data features available on this particular plan. So here there are no overages, it speeds up to 100 Mbps, access to 5G, 5G plus, etc., which AT&T is providing here. So this is the kind of the first plan that we introduce during this process. There will be more plans that AT&T plans to provide, and that will be like much more high speed. So typically like this should be available in the few quarters, but for now this is the first plan that is available, and you would be able to upgrade once that is available as well. So once you go and choose the rate plan, then you add it to your orders and then you submit it. Sorry, I'm just gonna, yeah. So you're gonna submit that order. So once you submit the order, you get your account credentials. And here there are 4 account credentials. That is like the user ID, the account name, and the API key. These are the 4 credentials that will tie this account that you created with AT&T to Meraki dashboard. Once these accounts are tied, any number of activations that you do on the Meraki dashboard will be reflected here. So you can track like how many devices are activated either on the Meraki dashboard or on your AT&T fast activation portal. So there you go. So there's the account details that we received from AT&T. Now the next process we'll do is to plug this account details with the Meraki dashboard. Just gonna forward this a little bit. All right, so once we come back to the dashboard, what we do is, again, go and connect this account that we received from AT&T into the dashboard. So copy the same credentials. It will be available on the AT&T Fast Activation portal as well, but you can use a notepad or anything to copy this. And then once you copy all the credentials, you can hit the next button. So again, if you mistype any of this details here, it will not allow you to go to the next step. So make sure you kind of like provide the accurate details that we receive from AT&T. All right, so once that is provided, you have to accept AT&T's terms and conditions in terms of activating the service. And then once you do that, now the account is connected to the Meraki dashboard, and you can see all the details that AT&T provided you here. Just verify that at this point the device is connected, just to make sure that the eSIM is active. And this is the fundamental step that we need, is the device needs to have an active connection to dashboard in order to swap the eSIM from the bootstrap that's currently on, that's the data that Cisco provides, to an active profile, and that is the profile that actually you bought from AT&T, which is tied to a plan. All right, so here, all you need to do is to go and click that swap service plan, and this will move the device to the service provider account that you already connected. So here, this shows you the plan, and this is the plan that you bought from the AT&T service portal. This is the AWB premium plan. And then it also gives you a confirmation of what's the EID, what's the account that will be swapped, and then what's the supported APN. So in this case, you don't have to do anything because the supported APN is NR broadband. In case AT&T provides you a different APN, then you need to go and apply that APN under the uplink setting of dashboard, just to make sure that the APN between the end network, that is AT&T, and the device are the same. However, for this workflow, we have simplified the process to make sure that the APN is the same. That's the shared comp plan. Now, once that's done, you can directly go and swap service plan. So this now initiates a process of downloading the profile from AT&T and directly applying it to the MG52. So this process can take anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes, depending upon how speed the connection is and how fast we can download that eSIM profile. But typically, we've seen somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes in order to download it. So I'm just gonna forward this a little bit to a point where the device becomes active. So once the plan is swapped, you will see the updated plan directly on this page. So it's still happening, and there's fundamentally, when you actually do the swap, there's a number of steps that is happening in the back end. The first step obviously is the device tries to download the profile directly from AT&T. Once it downloads the profile, it tries to activate it. Once it activated, then it tries to get the device or the SIM to the right plan. So there's a number of steps happening in the background. That's the reason it takes 5 to 10 minutes. Now, in order to speed up the process, you could just go and apply an NR broadband directly on the uplinks tab and make it like even faster. But we have included the logic so that even if something changes in the backend in terms of APN, our device is able to recognize it. It's able to kind of bring the device active on that specific APN. So we'll just go and see like what happens. All right, so if you see like the device was able to download it. So if you see here, fundamentally the service provider was Cisco, because this is the data plan that we provide as part of like, onboarding, that is like to provide you the initial connectivity to be able to swap it. And if you look at the comp plan and the rate plan, there's still bootstrap, that this is the data that Cisco provides. Once the device actually moves to a target eSIM plan, it changes to the plan that you just bought with AT&T. So technically, you can activate any number of devices at this point in time. So if you have more MG52 devices in your network, you can just activate all of them at a time, and then once in 5 to 10 minutes every device is activated, you're good to deploy it, or you can just deploy it right away and then start activating them. It's up to you because we provide that functionality of the bootstrap data. So now you can see like the device is automatically active on AT&T and it's able to ping and we can reach the dashboard and or the device specifically. So here again, I just want to walk you through the uplinks tab just to make sure that if you have any other SIM card, you can still add it and you can make it either primary, secondary, etc. At any given point in time, we can only have 2 SIM cards as active, that is primary and secondary. The third one will not be in use. So that means if you have 3 SIM cards for some reason, and then you want to use all the 3, you cannot use it. So basically, if one of them goes down, you get an alert, and then once you receive the alert, you can basically make the other as primary and the device that or the SIM card that's not in use as either primary or secondary. So we do provide an option to do that via the uplinks page on the dashboard. So that's pretty much it with respect to an eSIM activation process. It takes you somewhere between from the time that you claim the device, somewhere between 15 minutes to go and activate and get that device ready and pinging on dashboard. All right, so now coming back to the part where, sorry, just get to the slide. All right, so let's get to the part on why this experience is unique and different. Now, there are other competitors in the market that actually offer eSIM, but if you look at the process, that is typically not a zero-touch process. So all you need to do in different cases is to log into a local status page of a device, copy a QR code with your camera, apply it. Think about scaling this to thousands of devices, right? It's not possible. It's almost as if you are actually kind of doing a staging process with eSIM. What we really wanted to do here is to provide you a process which is easy to consume, but also be able to scale where you can go ahead and activate any number of devices in the field. So that's the experience we wanted to provide. And as time goes, you would be able to activate, say, Dan, any other carrier, and that's something that we're working on. But the technical, concept here is that the time it saves for you in terms of staging a device and bringing it, kind of like online is huge. Now, if you have to, typically, if you want to take like the average amount of time that it takes or to get a device, get a SIM card, put it in, and then kind of scale across thousands of devices. And even if you take like this process take 2 to 3 days, for thousands of devices, this would be any number of man hours that you can save by using the cloud managed eSIM. Now, if you want to actually so I want to get to the part where how is it going to be, say, for example, with any SP, right? And this is the process where we're thinking that no matter like if you have an SP that you want to, bring it on dashboard, say it's worldwide, what we would like to do here is to add that SP as part of like our dashboard experience. So if you want to have an SP in mind that you think like, you want us to partner with, all you need to do is to let our sales and TSA team know, and we will work with them to see like if we can get them onboarded onto our platform. And the process to do is very simple. It remains exactly the same that you have, except the fact that you will have an additional carrier that you can just go and activate it at some point in time. Now, if you want to really onboard any other SP, there's fundamentally a process that we have. So if you have an SP that you're interested in, then you want to bring us to have that support, we have a prerequisite set of list that we would like to work with that SP in order to onboard them so that you can partner with the right SP partner to be able to provide the right offering to your customers. So one of the prerequisites is like we need to have some onboarding onto eSIM, Cisco eSIM Flex platform. That's one of the fundamental things that we need to have. We also need to have some profile availability. That means if you want to download the profile onto our device, we need to have that profile available to us so that we can download it. So that's one of the process. Now coming back to support process. So if you look at the support process with respect to what we have introduced, like if you have a problem with AT&T and you want to raise a ticket, you can directly go and raise a ticket on the AT&T portal, and an AT&T customer support will reach out to you. If there's a problem where something is on our device, they will seamlessly hand over the ticket to us, and we will be able to support you in any way if there's problem related to our device itself. So we have a seamless transition here, and this is what we need to do in order to make the experience seamless to customers. And there might be some back office dependencies. Like for example, in this case, you would see like customer or any enterprise user can go and buy actual plan on the AT&T account, and then once they do it, we have a way to kind of fetch that data and then link it to Meraki dashboard. Now we might need to do that if if you have a partner SP who wants to partner with us. That would be one of the fundamental things that we would need, is to tie that actual account to Meraki dashboard. Now, again, like I don't want to go into further details around this, but this is a process that we have laid for any carrier that we want to partner with. And this profile needs to be available for us to be able to use it. And then a couple of other integrations that we need to do in order to support, for example, a carrier that you think is necessary for your enterprise customers. So really, from a standpoint of how this eSIM is differentiating here is in terms of, like, as I talked about, was the manual staging required. So for example, if it takes 3 to 5 hours upfront, and importantly, the truck rolls, if something happens to the device and the device loses connectivity, you need to have like a truck roll in order to go and fix that problem. And with eSIM, we can actually probe those devices completely remotely to see what's wrong, and also work with our partner carriers to be able to get that connectivity back running. With respect to, like, again, improved customer experience, faster time to value, you have zero touch experience. So if you're connecting the MG to a full stack Meraki, you can manage all these devices in one place. But also, from a standpoint of scaling and managing thousands of sites, this becomes an easier experience, because if you need an end connectivity device, MG52 is the right partner where it gives you the right experience and also the performance on any 5G network. So that's also kind of improves the customer experience when it comes to providing the right quality of service. So with that, that's pretty much I have for today. If you have any questions, I will be able to answer those questions on the chat.
Yeah, there are a few questions. I think number one here that I see is, when do we expect to support Verizon with the MG52s?
Okay, so expected that question. So Verizon already has something called as a ThinkSpace portal, where they plan to integrate eSIM with other vendors. What we're doing is also working closely with Verizon and other carriers to see how we can integrate this and bring. I don't have a timeline yet at this point in time, but that's an active part that we're pursuing to see like how we can do that. As I said, eSIM itself, there's a number of complex processes that we have to solve in order to give this. And as I said, like one of the part is downloading the SIM profile, which is kind of like getting your plastic SIM and replacing it or placing it on an MG52 or any other device. That's the hardest part. And the next part is connecting your account with the actual data plan that you have bought. So again, like any number of devices that you activate, you should be able to activate on the plan that you just bought. It's not easy to do it. There's a lot of things working in the background to happen in order to make that happen. So as I said, we're working closely, and don't have a timeline yet, but probably in the future, yes, we plan to get Verizon.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Another question, and there's one around FirstNet certification. What's the timeline for that?
So we're actively pursuing FirstNet at this point in time. We think that by Jan, of next year, we should be able to get it. Again, that's a tentative timeline we're working towards. Some of these certifications are not really dependent on us. These are kind of dependent on the fact that we get a lab timing to get that product certified. So we're working through our third-party partners to just to speeden it up. But at this point, we believe like we might be able to get that by Jan of next year.
Okay. Next one is if we have a customer with large number of devices to be onboarded, is there a way to do it in a one-shot kind of migration where at the same time also swapping the carrier?
So they get it like, swap all the devices in a single time? Is that the question?
Yeah, so any mechanism to do in one shot if a customer has large number of devices to be onboarded and swapped
Mhm.
the carrier.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the fundamental problem that I said. If the device has to be online to be able to swap. So if all the deployments are online theoretically, and if that is a deployment like that, yes, why not? You can use our APIs to kind of like do a streamlining process instead of using our dashboard and activate all of them. Again, the word of caution here is that you need to add some logic to make sure that the device is it's kind of reporting to dashboard. It's active on an eSIM. The reason is because if you want to download the profile can be only be downloaded on an active connection. And specifically, if you want to download the AT&T profile here, it has to be active on the eSIM to be able to download it because any other SIM card has a different context. We won't be able to download that way. So we need to have that eSIM active at that point in time. So if you use APIs and then want to automate this process, yes, 100%.
Okay. Thank you. I hope that answered the question, Arif. If not, I can also unmute you if you have anything else to add. Next question is, will the APN change from broadband when AT&T finally switches to 5G SA?
So that's a part we've negotiated with AT&T not to change. So when we talked to AT&T, we wanted to give it a unique experience to every single customer, not having to input APNs. So we have worked on a process to keep that APN the same. However, if there's changes in the network that mandates a separate APN, because NR is next generation radio, just is a short form for 5G SA, so technically that should not change. But again, like this depends on a lot of things. Now, this part of the process that I actually did not cover today was you can also connect an existing AT&T control center account to a Meraki dashboard. So what I mean by that is like if you have already an AT&T control center customer who wants to activate MG52s, then all you need to do is to go to that AT&T control center account, get the same credentials, and then plug it to the Meraki dashboard. And once you do that, you can onboard the customer with an existing AT&T control center plan with the Meraki dashboard, with the MG52, pardon me. So there's no difference as to what you do with the fast activation portal, because again, AT&T is the provider here, so you should be able to do the same.
Okay, very good. I think that explains it. And one last question is around static IPs. Would static IP be available from AT&T from AT&T? I'm sorry.
On the eSIM, yeah. So for
On the
static,
eSIM, yes. Sorry.
yeah. So for the static IP, that depends on whether AT&T has availability of static IPs, given that it's AT&T is the provider. So that's a good question. So if you have a customer who's already using a control center account for the buy flow process that I actually showed you right now, there's no static IP available simply because for now, like we're focusing on providing connectivity right now, and static IP would probably be in the future iterations. But if you have the customer already part of AT&T Control Center, then that's definitely possible. Because if they have an account with AT&T Control Center, then all you need to do is to link those credentials to your Meraki dashboard. A word of caution here is if you have a static IP, then you might have a static APN. In that case, you might have to apply that APN before you actually swap to a target plan. So what you would need to do is go to the Uplinks tab, apply that APN, save it. So once that APN is applied and saved on the device, then you can go and swap the plan. And then when the device comes up, it automatically knows what APN to use and directly comes over that. So there's an additional process if you have to use static IP with Control Center. But there's more information on, documentation.meraki.com. Go to MG and eSIM, and you have all the documentation available on how to activate this. Again, typically what we see is like 5 to 10 minutes for an activating an eSIM. And that's like fundamentally different from how it used to be of sourcing SIM card and doing all that. What we've been focusing on here is to connect that device buying experience and the connectivity buying experience, which is fundamentally does not exist today for any IoT device.
Very good. Thank you for the detailed explanation. I don't see any other questions. So I think with that, we can close the webinar. Thank you, Uni. This was great. And everyone, we will be posting the video as well as the PowerPoint presentation on our NXPR webpage. Please, if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.